Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 9 Royal Navy battleship Lion. Matchmaking is good. It's a mixed tier match with 9, 8, and 7 represented. And top tier, that's always a good thing. Now, I have, this time 2-3 weeks ago, I'm going to go in here and reset this. Since the 10.5 update, these will not stay set for replays. I've got to go in and manually do it every time. But I want you to be able to have the information this provides. So there we go. Um, I've had half a dozen or so ships that were tier 9s that I just really hadn't been working on. I spent, after the commander skills rework, um, I had, I don't know, 15 to 18, 19-point commanders, and suddenly I had no commanders that were building any significant um, elite commander XP. So I was working pretty much exclusively on getting one of my commanders to, well, I was able to get two using the elite commander XP that I already had to 21 points. And then I played those ships almost exclusively and have been growing the number of 21-point commanders that I have. So I finally reached the point where I don't have anywhere near as many as I had 19-point commanders before this rework that I think was just a blatant, well, I don't think it was to make the game better, which was Borgman's contention. I think it was to help level the playing field and uh, kind of do away with some of the skill gap that playing the game for a long time added to make it a little bit easier on newer players. That it makes it now almost impossible for newer players to ever contemplate getting a 21-point commander or any of the other things. I guess it doesn't matter. In this game, I finally got around to the Lion, and I'm trying to finish this up so I can get the Conqueror. It's kind of been a goal to finish up all the lines. And like I said, I had maybe half a dozen or so that I hadn't finished, other than the CVs. And this was one of them. I worked through some cruisers the week or two before starting to play with the Lion. And I have to say that this is a fun ship to play. And in a sense, it is a Conqueror with 3 turrets instead of 4. There are some other differences, but I think it's fair to say that. And so you get an idea of kind of the accuracy and the damage and the number of fires that these Royal Navy ships can put out. Now, do I think that HE spamming long-range battleships were a good idea to put in the game? No, I don't. And will I play these regularly and consistently going forward? Probably not. For me, it's more of just a goal to finish the lines. Do I blame people for playing them? Do I blame people for playing Conqueror or Thunder? No. I do not blame the players. Blame the game. I think the HE spamming long-range accurate battleship idea was not a good one for the game. Any more than I think the current proliferation of quick reload, high HE damage output cruisers is good for the game. I don't think it's good for the game. But nobody at Wargaming asks me what I think. So, like the rest of you, I just have to play what I find fun, and just accept that Wargaming is going to do what they're going to do based on what their spreadsheets are telling them. So, what are some of the strengths of this ship? Well, as I mentioned, it does have good accuracy. And the HE does hit very hard. And it can start a lot of fires. So we're 4 minutes and 15 seconds in. I've started 5 fires. Not a whole lot of damage, but the damage counter is just continuing to tick. And before this game's over, well, I have a decent game. It's not, it's not record-breaking. It's certainly not in the category of holy cow, look what this guy did, can you believe it, or anything like that. But for me, a guy who's really not a battleship player, I mean, I do play them and I have them, but most of my joy from this game comes from playing destroyers. The high risk, high reward play style of destroyers that has kind of always been there is what keeps me coming back. Although I do also enjoy playing cruisers and battleships, just not as much. Akatsuki ran out from underneath my shells there. Getting back to the guns, these are in the upgraded version, which you start with 406s, and from there you can move into the 419 millimeter guns. The 419s, which is what I'm running here, the HE shell damage does a maximum of 7,200 on a hit. Just going to try and finish Akatsuki here. 7,200 max on the HE, 13,000 max on the AP. Penetration's decent. If you can catch somebody broadside, you can definitely hurt them. And I do manage to land a couple shells on the Akatsuki and finish him off. There's an A hull and a B hull on the Lion, and I do have the upgraded hull, which means the ship has a base, which you can see there at 67,900 HP. You can also upgrade the range. And you can see the range for me right now is 20.7. I have upgraded that. The initial mod 1 is 18.9. So you're not picking up a lot of range, but it does come in handy. Now the good guys just lost 2 ships there. We lost the Akazuki and the Karankiolo. And that means the bad guys have a 10 ship to 9 ship advantage, and they also have a cap. And our Sims and our Iowa are up there at Charlie, and really should just be in full flight. If you were paying attention earlier, I suggested the Iowa he get out of there, and he apparently took the suggestion to heart, because he turned north, went around the island, and he is just running. Our Riga takes out the friendly Benson. Eendruck takes out the Sinop. And now we have a 1 ship advantage. With this, what is it, Skone? I know it's pronounced differently than it looks, but no, all my shells went over the top there. Now our New Orleans, he's contesting that cap, and good on him for doing it. Because the bad guys already have a points lead and a cap, and we don't have either. So I'm going to see what I can do to help our New Orleans. Now it's probably going to put me in harm's way. We've got that Eendruck, who is using his aircraft to harass the New Orleans. And we've got Neptune, Georgia, and Alsace out there that I'm going to have to be aware of as well. Let's see if I can get some fires on that Georgia. Not a whole lot of damage at this point. I do have the Eendruck and the Pommern out here on this side. And that, there's a couple more fires. A little bit of damage. I do have that DD out here I've got to kind of be aware of. So I think I'm going to cruise this way just a bit and try and get this smaller island between myself and the likely trajectory of torpedoes. And while I'm doing that, I will just see if I can't get this Pommern burning. That's fire number 9. And that's number 10. Now, our Akatsuki and Eendruck have managed to secure the Alpha Cap, thank goodness. Our New Orleans, he got the heck out of the Bravo Cap, but he's moving in the wrong direction. That's fire number 11. He's pushing right into Neptune, Georgia, Alsace, and he does not last long. So I'm going to try and help finish this Pommern. Our Akatsuki, Riga, and Eendruck are all just pounding away on this ship. I'm going to add my shells to the mix. That's fire number 12. And that's probably all that needs to happen with Palmer. I'm going to just turn around. Skill number 2. Turn around and prepare to meet the onslaught that I know is going to come in the form of the Georgia and the other ships that I mentioned. Now our Musashi, unfortunately, he kind of just cruised up there and went nose into these guys. And somebody's going to have his broadside. The closer he gets, the worse the angles are going to be for him. And I'm moving kind of slow here because I don't want to ground myself. Gives me time to avoid hitting the island and also to get my guns turned around. You can see the detection range on this ship is only 12 kilometers, which is pretty darn good. I am kind of rubbing the island here, but I won't get stuck. Now I have to debate, do I fire on Georgia or Johann de Witt? And I decide to try and finish off this Georgia. Now, Georgia's pretty tough. You can see Musashi goes down to the Alsace. Their Alsace is having a great game. There's fire number 13 on the Georgia, and I am showing a little too much broadside here. I'm trying to widen my angle here. And I turned out rather than in because it's not just Georgia, it's Georgia, Helena, Indrecht, and Johann de Witt. Although Johann de Witt is, I'm sure, quite occupied with 3 of our ships down there. See if I can get another fire. That's fire number 14. Angle up against Georgia's shells, and Georgia's shells hit hard, but I do get angled up enough to avoid taking what I would call any significant damage. And Georgia looks to be slowly burning down. I get the spotter aircraft in the air. Georgia's going to die anyway, so I'm going to put these shells on the Indrecht. He's trying to accelerate out from underneath these shells. Georgia does go down. And I come so close on the Indrecht, but our Riga finishes him off. But still, that's 3 kills, a little over 103 damage. Still got over 8 minutes left in the game. And that Helena, he looks like he's stuck on the end of that ship. He's just kind of reversed in and he was just sitting there. Now I want to continue heading this way, but I want to make sure I can continue to get shells on the Helena too. That's fire number 16. You can see Alsace up there. There's also a Neptune up there. And I'm sure I'm going to start taking fire. Now, I'm happy to do that. Helena finishes off the friendly Riga. I'm happy to do that. My goal here, because I've still got a lot of HP and 3 heals, my goal is to occupy the Alsace and the Neptune to the best of my ability. And Helena's going to get sunk. It's just going to be a question of whether I can do it or someone else finishes it. Brindisi finishes it. That's 2 that were very close. That would have been my Kraken if both of those had gone my way, but neither did. Now, I'm sure that there are torpedoes coming from the Neptune, and the Neptune can fire them single fire. So what little amount I can, I'm going to try to juke. But these HE shells are really, really tough for Neptune to contend with. Obviously, I'm still detected. There's the red DD, and I'm sure torpedoes are going to be coming from that direction as well. Now, I'm going to wait because I know I'm going to eat one. Oh, they just barely missed that. He's going to show some side to drop these torps, and when he does, I'm going to blap him. So I managed to pick up the Confederate there, and I don't think he got his torpedoes off at that angle. And now I'm just going to rush down the Neptune. He's going to have to either face me or face the 3 ships that are that are south of him. Put some shells on Alsace. Maybe I can get Alsace burning. I'll have another heal up in 12 seconds. There's fire number 20. Will there be more torpedoes? I imagine so. And again, they might be single fired, and if so, might be difficult to avoid. Alsace just pushing right into that cap. He's just going to get right in the face of our Akatsuki and our Indrecht. And really, Alsace, if he's got HE loaded, he's going to be able to splatter that Akatsuki. And if he can avoid the torpedoes, he's going to really be able to wreak havoc in there. Now here come the single fire torpedoes. I'm going to eat one. but I managed to avoid the rest. Guess not. I'm going to eat another one, so it's going to, thank goodness, no flood. There's another Citadel on the Neptune who is just in full flight at this point. And Brindisi finishes him off. So I'm at 4 kills, 168,000 damage and counting. Our Aindracht, he's not long for this world. Our Akatsuki, he's probably in trouble as well. Yeah, I'd say so. And there's no way our Brindisi's going to square off with that battleship. I'll say still has 28,000 damage almost. Or, excuse me, 28,000 HP almost. So it's going to be up to me. That Aindracht, he's about to get sunk. He's got 2,200 hit points. Alsace finishes off the Brindisi. And a game that I think should have been just firmly in the bag for our team is really good. It's going to come down to what I'm able to do here. And there you heard it. I am the last one standing. Now I definitely have the advantage here. I've got 20 fires. I'm hoping to light at least one more, maybe a couple more, and I can heal up. If the Alsace has a heal, well, that'll keep him around a little bit longer, but I'm not going to give him the opportunity to get my broadside. So the most he could do would be to take out one of my turrets. But if we're just trading damage, I'm going to win this fight every time. So I'll say Kelly Matthews 37, you played a heck of a game. If you've been paying attention, take a look at his number of kills. If I'm able to finish him off here, it's a cracking for me, but he had an amazing game. Those of you joining me, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I'll see you next time.